Hello and welcome back to my channel. We're going to be doing another reading for another self-projected projector. I always think it's really neat when I get them back to back and they have a lot of similar qualities. So I just read for a 4/6 self-projected projector with the channel of the prodigal. So now I've got a 4/6 self-projected projector with totally different channels. We are dealing with inspiration and the alpha. This person's intake form had a little bit more personal information in it. They expressed a little bit more about a dysregulated nervous system, a little bit of isolation, which they say is self imposed and sometimes preferred and sometimes feels lonely. I think that's extremely common for projectors. They have a job that I don't what how do I want to say this? They had a job that required quite a bit of education, and it is a very projector based job, I believe. But let's say the environment where they might be a little bit dysregulating or uncomfortable or having some negative effects on them. They didn't necessarily express that. They're just kind of wondering, like, what do I see in the chart? How might I advise this person to live their life, et cetera, et cetera. Let's just see what comes out of me. Okay, so obviously the first thing I noticed is that they're a 4/6 self-projected projector because we just talked about that so much. Then after that, I want to acknowledge that they are only two centers. So unlike the last self-projected projector, we have no floating mental definition. So like myself, this is a classically defined two-center projector. That means we have a lot of space to take in other people's conditioning. I have not had too many people talk to me about my design. I haven't had too many readings. I had a fantastic reading, though, from someone. And one of the first things that they said to me was that I was extremely sensitive. And they just said, like, a matter of fact sentence that I know about my own design, but hearing it from someone else, I genuinely understood recognition a little bit differently in that moment, because having someone who didn't know me look at my chart and be like, wow, 7 undefined centers, you're taking in a lot. Hey, you're extremely sensitive. Does anybody acknowledge that? Do they treat you that way? Do they respect how sensitive you are? You would be seen as deeply empathic. You would be seen as likely highly intuitive. You might be seen as unnecessarily sensitive. I'm not entirely sure. I wonder if through your fear motivation, you come across as quite nervous because the driving force behind your questions, when they're correct, is a curiosity that's a truth hunter. It's like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? But what about this? But what about this? I think that your fear motivation also works with your career, but the subject of the, like, a lot of the times when we say your career, we're talking about the subject matter and maybe like the topic. Like, I think the topic of your work is great. I think that the academic requirements of your work are extremely well suited for a projector. I wonder, though, about the execution of the work. So, are we in an office building? Are we under pressure? The time in which you bill for, you are billing for very small increments of time. You're billing for, I believe you said, every 6 minutes. If there was a little ticker that went off every 6 minutes to like let me know that I needed to charge more money, or it feels almost like and I'm not saying that you're actually being exposed to a ticker that tells you when every 6 minutes goes by, but there's a part of you that is doing a lot of your inner math according to a 6 minute cycle because that's what your success is attached to. Because of the undefined centers in your chart, one of the most important things for you is boundaries. What are the boundaries in your life? Now, it's not boundaries and like keep everyone away from you, like put up a wall or put up a fence and keep everybody on the other side. And that's the boundary. No, it's going to take me a second to explain this because I genuinely believe that a projector superpower is taking the other in. I believe in the duality of this and that. What is one is also the other, this or that. So within being a projector, you can either be totally overrun by other people's definition or totally empowered by it. Give me time to explain this. Being empowered by other people's definition isn't about using it. It's not like, oh, there's a generator over there. I'm going to run over and plug in and be empowered. But no, the projector gift is in our ability to take people in to the level that we do. If we are the only ones that are that sensitive, that has to be part of our gift and our ability. So part of our success is determined by how well we're able to read and guide another being. Now, your ability to read another being is dependent on your level of sensitivity in reading another being. Now, when you're born as a projector, you're born very open, very sensitive, as in you haven't necessarily built walls or defenses to protect yourself against certain things. If I say walls or defenses, I'm going to talk about things like numbing and dissociating and masking. How do we shut down our gifts? How do we shut down our abilities? You, in theory, can't really like get rid of the ability. It can't get rid of the pathway, but you could clog up the pathway so that you could no longer travel down it. When you're born very vulnerable and very open with no self-built protection devices, you end up feeling a lot. That means that your infancy, your childhood, your youth, you took in a lot. Like we're dealing with long-term nervous system dysregulation for you. We're not just talking about like, oh, I think my career has dysregulated me. I would venture to say that the most dysregulated time you've ever been are the first 7 years of your life. And there's a good chance that your memory has done a few things to maybe help you not remember some of the things. If you want to validate the info, if you want to prove the information that I'm giving you, go do something called dried blood analysis. If you do dried blood analysis, you will pinprick a blood ring, prick your finger, and push your finger whoop, 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 on a paper. Now, every time you it's like you have a lot of blood, a little less blood, a little less blood, and then the last little prick that you do is like the least amount of blood comes out. Now, this gets divided into so many years old that you are, and then we're looking at cycles in your life. And when we look at this drop, part of what we're acknowledging is like if in a drop of blood, it's so cool because the outer circle of the drop of blood is going to represent your skin, like the outside of your body. Whereas the innermost circle in a drop of your blood is going to represent the health of your colon, the innermost part of your body. So you can travel from like the inside of your body to the outside of your body through looking at this one drop of blood. And you can also do it in a way that shows cycles throughout the body. And we will be able to look at the health overall of your body throughout all of time, basically. When you're looking at these samples and you see imbalances or disturbances in these samples, they will indicate not only what area of the body, but what point in time in your life this existed at. When I did this, I was extremely shocked to find out that the most disturbed point in time for my body was when I was 7 years old. I am a two-center defined, seven undefined centered projector. I have taken in a lot. And most of our parents did not raise us like 90, like basically all of our parents did not raise us according to our human designs. I was not treated like the projector that I am. I was not raised according to my diet type. I would venture to say the same for you. And so part of what I want to acknowledge is if you are in any way mean to yourself or not giving yourself enough grace for the state of your nervous system at 34 years old, yes, some of this has been and will be, and definitely will continue to be your responsibility. But also, a great part of this was not your responsibility. We are meant to be raised appropriately. We're meant to be raised to be our independent functioning selves. A lot of our parents, they just didn't know what that was for us. And maybe they did the best they could, and maybe they did not do the best that they could. But either way, they were the people that we had to listen to until we could get out of there. Now, you're a 4-6 profile. That means that you were a 4-3 profile for the first 30 years of your life. So you're only 34 years old. That means historically your life has been experienced as a 4-3 profile, which means friends mean everything to you. Friends, I would venture to say that friends are your family. And you struggle also with this because you're a third line. So you were a third line, like a pseudo third line. So you've got this like, this is my, this is my network. This is my group. These are my people. These are the people I can count on. And then you've also got this breaking the bond, breaking the bond, breaking the bond, breaking the bond. And it's not like you're actually like breaking the bond, it's that you're taking space. Okay. Now, the 4 doesn't do the taking space thing the same way that the 3 does. The 4 is like besties or get off my Facebook page. Like the 4 is, hey, brother, or get the heck out of the family. I never want to see you again. If you end a relationship with a 4, there's a good chance it's done, like done. You end a relationship with a 3, there's a good chance you call them back in 6 months, you could probably start again. 3s just have to correct things, whereas 4s, it's like you break an actual, you break more of a foundation. Whereas the 3 is more interested in the repair. And the 3 is actually just amused by the accidental learning process. Part of what you expressed in your intake form is that you used to have a tighter circle of friends, and that circle of friends has slowly diminished over time, but also you took some part in that. You took some responsibility in that. You stopped engaging with people. You stopped accepting the invitations that they were giving to you. Now, the question here is, were they really invitations? Like, did you turn down a good thing? And if so, why? Or did you appropriately turn down an inferior thing, but you haven't found the thing that you want to replace it yet? So you're still just stuck in the sadness of like, I lost a thing, even if the thing wasn't that good. So are the friends that have faded away, like, are you genuinely, truly missing them? Or were they filler friends and you don't actually align with them that much? And where did you live and where do you live now? Because your environment is way more significant to you than it used to be. And you are a mountains active environment and you come from one of the biggest cities in the world, let's say that. So I wonder how well suited your environment has been to you. Now, as a mountains active, if you were up in a high rise, that might feel okay. But I'm thinking coastal is not particularly your jam. I'm thinking super busy places are not particularly your jam. If you were born in the busier part of where you were born, maybe you had a really strong drive to like move to the countryside, maybe where everybody summers has a little bit more of an appeal to you, or maybe going slightly west to the next state over is more appealing to you. Your outer vision and mountains active. You need to see the right thing. What the heck are you looking at? Like right now, what do you see? Look around. Where are you watching this video? Are you in your bedroom? Are you at work? Are you in the living room? Are you in a cafe? Are you even watching the video? Or are you just listening to me talk? Where are you watching this? What do you see from this place? I mean, if you're outer vision and you're watching this, you're probably actually just watching, you probably are watching me. Who am I kidding? You wouldn't just be listening if you're outer vision. But what are you wanting to see? And like, are you hoping that I'm obviously you're hoping that I'm going to give you a fresh perspective. But like, were you hoping that I was going to see something? Have you been seeing something that you're hoping I'm also going to see and validate for you? Do you like the view? When you're at home, wherever your home is, do you like the view? Do you like what you see? What are you looking at? What are you focusing on? What distracts you? Now, your view is left, your view is focused, okay? Focused in wanting. So when you're looking at something, you're like, what's missing? One of these things is not like the other one, you know? Hmm. Honestly, when I'm done this reading, if your first thought is, yo, she didn't talk about that, that's probably the accurate view perspective for you. You asked a lot of questions about nervous system stuff. You have a totally open spleen, you have an undefined ajna, and you have an undefined solar plexus. Of all of your defined centers, your root is your biggest problem. Now, I'm not going to say like it is because I know you and I'm watching this conditioning. I'm saying this because statistically, it is most likely that the undefined center with the most activations in the hanging gates is going to be the most problematic. So there's a really good chance that your root is an extremely problematic center. Now, on top of that, what does the root do? It's a pressure center. So your nervous system is going to get hit by adrenaline, cortisol. What are those like in your body? If you are being hit with adrenaline, you're going to have adrenal burnout. What does adrenal burnout look like? Are you shaky? That's one of my first questions. What does cortisol look like in the body? Does it turn off your appetite? Are you going prematurely gray? Are you losing your hair in any kind of way? Do you wake up with any type of racing feeling or racing heart, racing thoughts? I got to get up. I got to do stuff. Now, okay, the whole I got to get up. I got to do stuff. I have to acknowledge that I don't want that to interfere with you having a healthy morning routine because sometimes people look at stuff the wrong. They don't quite know how to take the information that I'm giving because just because I give you a sentence, I think a lot of other things related to that sentence. You might not have all the information related to the specific information that I'm giving you. So if I say something like, don't just get out of bed and be like, what do I got to do? I'm saying don't react to the root pressure that way. That's different from you waking up and being like, huh, I'm awake. Cool. What do I want to do with that? Like you are an active brain. When you wake up, you're quite functional. And so it's not wrong for you to be functional in the morning. It's not wrong for you to be like, yeah, hop out of bed, make my bed, go make a whatever, open taste. I'll hop out of bed. I'm going to go make the same thing I've been eating for breakfast for most of my life. Whatever that thing is that you tend to hit it on repeat again because you're open taste. If you are living in America, there's a good chance that you are experiencing seasons. It is the end of November. It is probably slightly colder than usual where you are right now. You may be leaning into whatever your usual fall or winter breakfast is. You might be an oatmeal kind of person, but I'm expecting you to wake up, do your stuff, make your food, do a little bit of work, like move your body in some way. Like you are a fidgety presenting person because you are left brain, left body, focused view. So you can be a little bit of a like, and I'm not meaning it to be like jerky or jumpy, but it's like, oh, onto this, oh, onto this. There is a healthy amount of movement that should come from you. And a lot of the time, that healthy movement should present a little bit like stimming as you're moving the energy of other people through you and out of you. Let's take me all the way back to the beginning of this chat where we're talking about the projector taking on the conditioning. You are meant to take other people on and to feel them. That is the projector superpower, but you're not meant to be victimized by it or completely overwhelmed by it, which in many ways means don't hold on to it. If somebody goes through me with heavy emotional definition and I feel my whole stomach be like, and I get really like cramped up out of nowhere, I don't want to stay with that, right? Like at some point, my nervous system might teach me, like, breathe, Sam. Wow, you were so tense there and you didn't even realize it. What the heck was that about? All of these centers have something to teach us. They all have biological correlations. Your job is to experience overwhelm in 7 centers and learn how to work through it. Learn how to regulate out of it. It's not a burden to be a projector and take on everybody else. My ability to take on other people pays my bills. When I say that, I mean, this is where my money comes from. My money is a huge part of my success. So much of my success is based on my ability to go, how you feel? Let me feel it. Give me some of that. Oh, that's what that feels like. Ouch. That sucks. How long you been dealing with that? And when did that start? Mm-hmm. It's like it's like I eat the feeling of somebody else and then I go, "Oh, that's what that tastes like." Let's talk about what that tastes like. Is that the meal you want to be eating? Whew. And see, I have all these questions, right? Because what is the projector's point? The projector's existential question is, who are you? The generator's existential question is, who am I? The reflectors is like, can you be changed? And the manifestor's like, who am I impacting? My question is, who are you? And so I know what I feel like. I know what two center Sam feels like when she's alone. And that's also extremely important. I know what I feel like when I'm alone. And I also know what it is to walk into someone's dissatisfied sacral and be like, oh, I want to puke. Wow, I want to puke. Okay. First level of being a projector is you're going to be like, oh my God, I want to puke. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to step away from that feeling. I'm not going to interact with that. But eventually, over time, I'm going to learn, oh, dissatisfied sacral, that makes me want to puke. That's not me. I don't even have a sacral. That's that person right in front of me. I can tell by their whole body language that they're dissatisfied. They're all hunched over, rah, 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 just complaining over there. I can feel that. I don't like that. So rather than walk away from that, I'm going to walk probably towards that, knowing me. I'm probably going to walk towards that and be like, how do you feel? Maybe to bring their attention to it. I might ask some questions to try and move some things around because if I ask the right question, that feeling in there is going to shift because they're going to stop being frustrated and they're going to respond to something different. They're going to perk up and they're hopefully going to go put that energy in a better place. And I'm going to flip not only that sensation, I'm going to change the feeling that I was actually absorbing from that person. And then when they go away again, I'm going to get that out of my body. I'm going to be like, oh, that was a lot. All right, on to the next one. Like just that little like whoop, shake that I do there, I feel so much like release in me. But I think so many people are so just like locked into their own, not only their own crap, but they're locked into this like lack of expression, this performative like, oh, I can't look that way, or I can't move that way, or I can't be seen that way. It's like get it out, man. Like get it out of your system afterwards. I love being seven centers undefined. I love that I'm only carrying around two bags. I got two center baggage. Everything else, I'm like, wow, you guys are carrying a lot. But also, I don't have a problem being a sensitive projector. I used to have a problem being a sensitive projector when I didn't know how to deal with it, how to mutate out of it, and how to make money from it. But I actually very much understand my role as a projector now, and I love the sensitivity to it. But I will say you have to be careful with the boundaries because you can't just be like, yeah, I'm open. Anybody come in here and I'll amplify you and whatever. Like, we have to have boundaries. I'm not that interested in going near people that I deem to be extremely sick. I've definitely third lined some of that, and I've learned what not to do. I don't need to fix everyone. I don't need to read everyone, but I don't tend to run away from it at all either. I'm not an advocate for like projectors need to like go hide out. I'm like, no, you need to learn how to be your sensitive self out in the world because that's a huge part of your success. You also just have to learn how to let it go. And a huge part of that is learning what is yours and what is not yours. Again, I'm going to go back to the beginning of this conversation and acknowledge I think that the beginning part of your life was really intense. I think most of your life has actually been very intense. But I think that the beginning part of your life has been unrecognized intense. I think that there's a really good chance you were put through the ringer energetically, and your friends, caregivers, whatever, they were just very unaware of how intensely you felt things. And I would venture to, and I would venture to say that you were not necessarily taught how to unload, how to unburden, how to regulate yourself. I think that you should reach out to some of your friends. I think that some of the network that feels like it fell away for you is not actually gone. It's just not been nurtured for a long time. And I think that as the third line you used to be, there's a really good chance that you carry an unnecessary amount of shame about the fact that you didn't nurture certain relationships. And I think that you should just push that aside. And I think that you should reach out to anyone that you still care about. And if there's no one that you actually care about, then the end of all of these relationships is not a loss to you. And it's time to find a new network. And if you need to find a new network, I want you to find it in the mountains. That means high up in elevation, new perspective. Be with people who see things differently than the people that you're used to. I also don't think it's wrong for you to spend quite a bit of time alone in the mountains. Be active, engage in something. It doesn't have to be literal, like go hiking or go snowshoeing or whatever, because I'm also aware that you don't have any motors, but be in a slightly more rural, elevated place where you can meet new people and get new perspectives. Don't focus on the meeting new people, focus on being in the place that feels good for your body, and trust that the people that you meet there will still feel good for your body, and they will unlock the correct view perspective in you. So when you meet the right people in the right circumstance, it should be much easier for you to be in your wanting view and not transfer to your survival view. I can hear my brain like remind me of a couple of things. Like you started this point, you didn't finish it. You started this point and you didn't finish it. And it's trying to close up a couple of tabs for this conversation. I talked about the totally open splenic center, the undefined ajna with the one hanging gate and the 43, and then the undefined solar plexus with the three hanging gates. And then I moved on to saying that the root center was the most problematic undefined one because of how many activations that it has. But I'm just going to cycle back through the awareness centers for a second because I don't want you to forget the center functioning. You have two pressure centers that could be turned on at any point, and they send quite a jolt through the body. And then you have three awareness centers that could be turned on at any point, and they make you think, feel, and process very differently. Your spleen being totally open means that your relationship to health and safety is kind of, I really don't know where it's at. It could be great, it could be terrible, but let's just pay attention to the awareness that you have of what is healthy or not and who is healthy or not for you. With your ajna, you have a undefined, so potential to amplify with a prejudice or a kind of a stuck activation in 43, which means that your ajna will lean in the direction of individual and individual knowing and honestly saying things that don't necessarily make sense. Like you could be a very out of the blue person with the spontaneous 43. It also means that you can get kind of like stuck in a loop of what I would term disempowered thinking, because if you don't have the actual individual definition there, it's not empowering. You have a fickle, like not turned on sometimes, which I would venture to say leans more in the not self, and when amplified, could be quite disempowering. So I just want you to be mindful of the way that you perceive your own thoughts. If you perceive your own thoughts as disempowering, this could just be a conditioning thing that we need to work through, and we just need to shift your awareness on your thoughts. Again, awareness shifts so many things in the body graph. Now, your solar plexus, three hanging gates, all conscious, and one of them is your sun gate. I would venture to say that your emotionality, if you had a wave, it would be the most like hope, disappointment, crash based, because that's where the most activations are for your circuitry. Also, 41 is going to turn on in Pluto. We experienced a little bit of 41 turning on in Pluto this year, and it's about to turn on in Pluto, I believe, for quite a while. So you will have the channel of recognition conditioning you for a while, which means that there will be an extra emotional quality to things where you might feel under pressure to start something and then it doesn't go the way that you thought, and you crash with the upset of not being able to manifest a certain desire or fantasy. So I'm just going to say manage your emotional expectations. It's important for you to manage your emotional expectations. It can be very easy to be disappointed. Try not to have too much planning. Try not to get stuck too much in, like, I really hope this is how things go, because we don't have a lot of direction or control or awareness of where things are going. If human design is going to teach you anything, let it be that you don't have to think about where to kick the ball to or who's going to kick the ball to you. You just have to know how you kick a ball. And occasionally balls show up. And as long as you kick it the right way, it's going to do the right thing. Okay. Learn how you kick the ball. Learn how you, as the projector, your strategy, your authority, how you're supposed to eat, where you're supposed to be, how you move a little bit. And then just wait for the ball to come, because trust me, lots of them are coming. Okay. Seems like a comical place to end.